still more to the story that is yet to be uncovered.
Watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your September 2019 reading. Princess India here for the 9-9 and the 2000 and whatnot or whatever. My apologies for the sun. You know, it's doing its thing. We gotta let the sun do its thing. But anywho, the subbies asked to have general readings first this month, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So let me give you guys a quick explanation for how we're doing our generals for this month. So I'm going to pick 3 cards. So right now you want to be thinking about a number between 1 to 3, which is 1, 2, or 3. And then I'm going to pick 3 cards, and whatever number that you picked translates into a group, right? So in the extended, I'm going to get more specific for those 3 groups because, of course, this is general. So that means, you know, we're pretty much looking at whatever it is that, you know, or what I'm asking, or what my intention is, in other words, is whatever is of utmost importance to you guys to know in the month of September, that comes to the forefront in this reading, right? So that could be love. I mean, we're not really so much focusing on love, but it could be love, it could be career, it could be your spiritual growth, what have you. But I'm going to keep it pretty general for the reading on YouTube, and then on Vimeo, depending on what your group is, we're going to take that general information and make it more specific for those 3 groups. So we're going to go ahead and ask Spirit to help us out with picking these cards, but make sure you've already picked your number, my dear. So 1, 2, or 3. Let me get 3 cards for our groups, please, Spirit. 3 cards. Do you have your number yet? Come on, Gemini. All right. 1, 2, and 3. So let's see. Group number 1. You have celebration. Whoa, can you see it? There we go. Group number 2, you have laziness. Oh, that's fascinating. And group number 3, you have existence. Fascinating. So we'll get into these more in depth in our extended. But for the time being, let's go ahead and get into you guys' cards. Let me move this mic out of the way. So I hope you guys have been doing fine since our August reads. So we're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for my Geminis for the month of September. Please, Spirit, anything they need to know, anything of utmost importance, I ask that come to the forefront in this here reading, Spirit. And as always, I thank you in advance because I know you're good for it, Spirit. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. Or whatever. So let's go ahead and jump right in, Gems. Let me cut my deck right quick. All right, first card out, we have, oh God. Okay, so this is the side where the sun is not. We have the moon. Second card, we have the 2, oh good Lord, the 2 of Swords in reverse. Then we have the 8 of Wands in reverse. Okay, I really don't have any room. Let me pull my cards down. Sorry, y'all. Next card that we have is the Hangman in reverse. Interesting. 2 major arcana. Then we have the Sun card, and it's the heart of your reading. What is it that's going to make you happy, Gem? Then going forward, we have the Empress in reverse. Then we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. Then we have the 9 of Swords. And last, we have the High Priestess. This is fascinating. I can already see where this is going. Okay, first thing I see, first and foremost, is they're like, all right, just say it like this. The desire of my Geminis in the month of September is happiness, right? And happiness, of course, yeah, we could look at happiness as like a convoluted construct. Like, what really is happiness, right? But I see this more or less in all aspects. I see it in the aspect of the material and spiritual. I see this in the sense of knowing my purpose, my meaning, what am I here for, what are we doing, and being able to wake up every day with that bounce in my step for living a purposeful, living an intentional life, right? In all aspects, in so many words. That's really what I'm seeing as the core desire of where my Geminis are. That's what you guys are aspiring to. For others of you, it may be that external facets of your life may be in alignment, but the void that one may be feeling is in the sense of personal fulfillment and happiness. So it's going to plague such questions as what we kind of talked about in one of the videos that I put up last week. Is just kind of like, what is it going to take for me to get there? Because for some of you, it may be that, you know, you may have thought that getting a certain job or being with a certain person or living in a certain place, like getting to a certain facet, well, not facet, but getting to a certain level in your life, in so many words, would provoke that sense of happiness, but finding that that's still unfulfilling and just kind of pondering and questioning about what is it that's going to get you there, right? But overall, just kind of like circumstances outside of you guys, what it's looking like is there's a level of, the word that I want to say is not a word, but it's a lack, because I literally, my brain was like disclarity, and I'm like, that's not a word. But there's a lack thereof of clarity in you guys' endeavors right now. And I think that lack of clarity is very much related to this seeking or this desire for personal fulfillment. And I feel that there's like a sense of stagnation with that as well. So it's not really, it could be a sense of feeling like you're fighting for something or that you fought for something, but it's almost hitting a plateau, if that makes sense. So it's almost like having an idea or thinking that you're knowing, it's almost, I don't know, like losing my way, I would want to say. It's kind of like I'm fighting for something, I want something, and being clear on what that is, but it's either prior to getting there or on the journey there, it's kind of losing that momentum. Because, and now it's like a sense of stagnation that's provoked from that, because now it's like, I know where I'm coming from, but I don't know where I am right now, and I don't really know where I'm going or where I want to go, and it's feeling stuck. And the only light that I'm really seeing that you guys have, in a sense, is this desire, but it's feeling almost, I don't want to say inept. It's feeling almost inept to get it. Now, for others of you, it feels almost like a disappointment, because what is the word that I'm looking for, Jim? I'm asking you like you can reply to me. I don't know what this word is, but it's almost like, it feels to me as if, okay, this is a good example. So say it's like you want this position at your job, right? And for a very long time, you didn't even bother like applying for the position because you felt like, oh, you know, what's the point? I'm not going to get the job. I'm not qualified, blah, 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 right? So say that, you know, there's people in your life that are just like, oh my gosh, you know, you should apply for it, da, 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 da. You decide to apply for it, and wow, that makes sense. This makes so much sense. I don't really count, like when I clear my decks before I do readings, this is a tiny segue that's going to qualify the next statement that I make. When I clear my decks before I do readings, I don't really so much include those cards, but it's like as I'm clearing the deck, it's like I'm attuning to whoever I'm about to read for, which was Gemini's energy. And it's like when I split my deck, because I clear my, y'all know that I go by research. So scientifically speaking, this is another segue to the segue that's going to get to my point. But scientifically speaking, there was a case study on tarot cards, and the proper number of times to shuffle your deck to clear it, like to null it out, is 10 times. So that's a little something you can take with you. So I clear my decks 10 times, right? So the last time when I got to 9 and I was going to break the deck, it's like as soon as I break the deck, it's like a card falls face down. Usually I don't really count those. But looking at what it is that I was about to say, that card now makes sense to me. Like I didn't want to think anything of it because it was not a super dope card. It was the star in reverse, right? And I really didn't want to include that or count that or even consider it. But it's like now that I'm looking at this, it's kind of making sense, right? So that brings me back to my whole little thing with our pre-shuffle and whatnot, right? So the star reverse came out, and it's like, you know, when I flip it over and I see it's the star reverse, it's like hope lost, right? Now where hope lost comes in with this this seems like an epic disappointment to me, because it's almost like with the Hanged Man, and this is getting super deep now, of why a person would feel lost. All right. With the Hanged Man in the reverse, like if you think about the Hanged Man when it's upright, I look at that as like my card of waiting on God. When I see the Hanged Man in reverse, we're either going to look at that as enlightenment. I'm saying we as in like we, like me and the whole city behind me. Not really the city, like my spiritual goon gang, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, but when it's in the reverse, I look at this card as one or two things depending on the context. And in this context, I can look at it as two ways. One, I look at it as the false prophet, right? So that's usually like if you get, and I mean, not literally going to a false prophet, but I mean, like, if you get some type of guidance or advice that isn't necessarily wrong, but because we create our own realities, it's like if you feel as if it was wrong. So that's like, if, I can't even say if you get a reading from me, because I wouldn't even like tell somebody to do something, per se. But it's like if you went to your friends for advice, if you went to a psychic, a tarot reader, a palm reader, or whatever, if someone gave you guidance on how to obtain this and that didn't work, or if you went to a trusted advisor or to friends, right, and feeling like you're stuck, you're stagnant, you're in a bind, and someone gives you advice on how to get out, so it's like a pseudo enlightenment, so you think you have the answer, and it's like you go like full gusto into that, despite like, your mind kind of being in two different places about it and you being in dissension, and then moving forward on it and that not working, and now you're kind of feeling worse off. That's kind of the vibe that I get with this. So looking at and this is me just so I don't confuse you guys, just going into like the background that has got us to where we are now. It seems to me that there was something that you guys were not very clear on. It was a circumstance or a situation or something that you guys were on the fence about heading in the direction of. You know what I mean? And it's like you guys feeling like stuck, but it's like a stuck of your own volition. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not making a move on where it is that I'm at right now because I'm not really sure. So you reach out to people to give you clarity or to give you like an objective view, so people who can potentially see your situation maybe better than you can because they're not in it, right? So it's more or less the guidance that was received or how you guys chose to move forward was to put your guards down and to like go forward anyway. So if we go back to our job scenario, it's like, you wanted this job, but you were leery about applying for it because it's like you didn't want to deal with if you didn't get it. So it was kind of like, I don't know if I'll get this job or if I won't, but I'm kind of better off like just kind of being stuck where I'm at in a position that I don't like than applying for this job and there being a 50% chance that I won't get it. Even though I know there's a 50% chance that I could get it, I would rather settle with the 50% of not getting it. Right? Now Spirit's telling me something else that will come in a minute. But it's like, I would rather settle for that. So that left you like in a self-imposed stagnation, right? But it's more or less with, having this conversation with a friend, a group of friends, or watching a reading or getting a reading or whatever it was, it gave you a sense of hope where you decided to kind of go after it, right? Because it's like the whole thing of like, manifest your destiny, like whatever you want, go after it, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like you guys went after this thing. So this is bringing us into our present energy. So you guys went after this thing with the best intentions, with, doing your law of attraction and, speaking things that are not as though they were and things of the sort. You decided to like dispel any type of dissension or lack of clarity. And you chose to think positive in the situation, like regardless, right? But I feel underneath that, there was still an unsettling feeling, right? So it's kind of being in a sense of anxiousness, right? but it's like still trusting the process. And I feel like what that led us to is a place where whatever it is that you guys went after, it has yet to bear fruit, right? Or you guys are feeling stagnated still, right? Or you're feeling more stagnated than you were prior to. And I think the thing that's coming up now is where you guys are and where you were are kind of like two sides of the same coin. It's like in the past, it was like a self-imposed fear, but now it's almost kind of like I don't want to say your worst fears, because I mean, the energy that I'm seeing here, this is not like a life or death type of situation. But I feel like now it's kind of like an opportunity to where you could kind of blame other people, if that makes sense. Where it's kind of like, oh, you know, if I would have never listened to them, you know, like you don't get the job, you know, and it's like, if I would have never listened to them, then I wouldn't have this problem. You know what I mean? But the whole thing that I'm saying is you don't want to necessarily get in that energy, because where that it puts you in, like talking about the Empress reversed here, it's like looking at the Empress reverse with the Eight of Wands in reverse. It's like, it's that same feeling that I'm seeing over here with the Hangman and the Moon of like being blocked. But it's kind of like being blocked here is operating out of fear. So it's a sense of I'm better off not knowing, like not trying, keeping myself stuck, and not trying and not knowing. But I feel like the whole reason why this is coming out in this reading, and I hope this is making sense, y'all, because clearly this month, the stuff that's coming out of my mouth, it just makes no sense to me. But you guys are making sense out of it, so that's all that matters. It's not for me to understand. But anywho, but I feel like what the whole thing is here, it's more or less like now, what could be a dark distraction is what I want to say. What could be a dark distraction in all of this is the fact that prior to this was a self-imposed prison, because it's not trying out of fear. But now it's like you tried and your quote unquote worst fear came to pass. So hypothetically, you didn't get the job. And now you, not saying you're technically doing this, but this is with my scenario. So hypothetically, now you could turn around and blame your friends, right? It's like, if they would have never told me to like try to get this job, it's like I would be fine and I wouldn't be dealing with this and da 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 da. And now it's like I'm stuck and now I look like this and da da da. So in essence, it disempowers you. So it's not so much a thing of like, oh, you shouldn't blame your friends because that's the wrong thing to do. It's more about how this is affecting you. And the way that it's affecting you is the fact that you're giving your power away to a situation, right? But the thing that I'm seeing here overall with the High Priestess being here is there's a need for you guys to tune back into your intuition. And because I feel like whatever it is, not necessarily that it's a loss, but whatever disappointment it is that you guys have experienced, or whatever it is that you're kind of trying to iron out now, or whatever it is that's making you feel less than or disempowered or less abundant, it's the fact of needing to realize that where you are is no different than where you were. It's just the circumstances are different, but the internal state is the same. And the solution to this proverbial problem or whatever is getting back in tune with your truth. Because the main thing that I'm seeing that's like slapping me in the face across this reading is the Moon card, the Sun card, and the High Priestess. Which means to me that there's still, I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's still more to this story that is yet to be uncovered. And meaning the more to the story that's yet to be uncovered is your truth, right? So it's like we started this reading out in the same place that we're ending it. And it's like, despite whatever the extenuating circumstances or the specifics of the situation are, it's the fact that at the heart of this, it's about what's going to make you happy. Because your happiness is not contingent upon external circumstances. So granted, things come along in life that disappoint us, you know, we get let down and things of the sort. But the whole point of what I feel that Spirit is trying to drive home here is more or less bringing to your attention how it is that you've disempowered yourself to external circumstances, right? And whether it's how we're thinking about things, whether it's like if we're taking advice from people, why are we taking advice from other people? Is it because I don't trust my judgment? Have I taken time to shine the light on my proverbial Moon card to figure out what it is that I really want? Is this something that I really would be disappointed over, right? Am I spending time with myself? You know what I mean? It's like, am I really taking time to see what it is that I want? Is, you know, or even like how I said, like with that unrest, it's like when I felt that unrest, did I tap into that? Like, am I tapping into that, or am I relying more on other people's advice? And I could say the same thing where if we bring readings up into it, right? So say hypothetically, say in August, you guys were like at a crossroads and you really needed to make a decision about something, and say that you watched me or watched, you know, another reader or whatever, and, you know, you kind of just jumped in head first and was like, oh, you know, I'm just going to go with this. But something in you was like, you know, maybe that's not your situation. Maybe that reading didn't resonate. Maybe that wasn't you. You know what I mean? And you kind of acted on it. And now being in this place of like, well, I thought this and that, da 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 da. You know what I mean? But the question is checking in with yourself, because I feel that the biggest void in all of this is it's not about anyone else. I feel that this is heavily just about Gemini. And if Gemini is doing what's best for Gemini, is Gemini giving themselves clarity, right? Is all hope really lost in this situation? Because I don't know why. It's like the vision that I'm getting is almost like inside of like everything around Gemini could be dark and destroyed, but it's like there's a raging fire that's still existing within the being of Gemini. But Gemini is so fixated on everything externally that we're not seeing the light that's like radiating within. You know what I mean? So, and I feel and I hope y'all that I'm not like not making sense, because I do feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but hopefully this makes sense. But I'm feeling that with the sun card is symbolic of the truth, your guiding light. This is like the open door to whatever it is that you guys are desiring for, or whatever it is that you feel that you lost. And it's a need for you guys to tap into that, because I feel like it's all external circumstances that are making you guys feel stuck, stagnant, or like losing hope and things of the sort. And it's not taking the time to consult with oneself. And I feel that any form of like stress, worry, anxiety, or whatever that you guys are feeling, I feel it's because you're putting more weight on what people are saying outside of you, whether it be a parent, a friend, a group of friends, a boss, a reader, a psychic, whatever. It's putting more weight on other people's opinions about yourself and your life and what you're capable and not capable of, but never taking into account the fact that I'm never checking in with myself. What do I think I'm capable of? What do I want? What does happiness look like for me? What does a happy future look like for me? Or what does the ideal me look like? I feel like it's a lot of relying on what other people think. So whether the stagnation is self-imposed because of, you know, self-defeating thoughts, right? Or if it's imposed by people external to you by giving your power away to other people and allowing other people to make decisions for you. The whole thing Spirit is bringing this back to is you are the light of your own life, regardless of what facet of your life this is in. It's like you are the sun card. You are the one that has the answers. You are the one that knows the way. And it's getting back to a place where you realize that, right? So I hope that made six? That's a number of balance. The Lover's card, which is Gemini, I don't know why that came up, but I hope that makes sense. Gemini. Or some of y'all, oh my gosh. Are some of y'all a life path 6? That's the wounded healer. I don't know if that has relevance, it might. But I hope that made sense, y'all. We're going to throw the dice of resonance. If you want to ask a yes or no question, go ahead and do that now, my friends. These readings have been so interesting this month. Okay, we have Capricorn, we have Cancer. The answer to your question is no. We have Mars or male, and then we have co-worker boss. Wow, so this really might have something to do with work, y'all. The answer to your question is no. Cancer, Capricorn, Mars, and co-worker boss. And oh my gosh, y'all are special. Spirit wants me to pull one of these. I don't know if you have another question you want to ask. I don't really know. Whatever you're worried about, there's going to be a peaceful resolution. I feel intuitively, whatever it is that you guys are concerned about or what you guys are worried about, like whatever it is that's plaguing you guys right now, and from all of the emails and messages that I've gotten about the Gemini reading, I think I told y'all in the beginning, like I totally recorded this, but the sound was just not there. But I feel like this reading, I don't even really remember what the first one was about, to be quite honest with you. But I don't know, this feels slightly different. But the whole thing I say with this is, whatever it is that's plaguing you guys' mind, there's going to be a peaceful resolution to it, because I feel whatever it is that was taken away, that was lost, or anything that you guys are concerned about is going to be replaced by something better. But I don't know, I just really feel it's a downtrodden perception on things, but it's a mindset. And I feel it's not really so much stuff that's going on in your lives, it's more or less how you're perceiving things. So for instance, if it's like, say if we go back to this job scenario, the people who would resonate with this reading, you're people where you not getting that job, you don't look at it as there being something better. You look at it as a statement of like, not necessarily your worth, but it's just like that, you know, good stuff never happens to me, or, you know, stuff never works out and I knew I shouldn't have tried, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a mindset like that I feel. And that's all perceptive. But I feel that this is coming up, and this may not resonate with everybody, because how this feels for me, this is a person who has inner struggles is who I'm talking to. This is a person who battles a lot with themselves, inside of themselves. And that's like how I said in the beginning, where your external life, there literally may be nothing wrong with your life. Like literally, there may be nothing wrong. Everything may be fine. Your money is good. You have a great job. But this is more or less showing an inner state, and how it is that one is disempowering themselves by valuing other people's opinions about yourself and your life more than you value your own. But either way it goes, I feel with this peaceful resolution, I feel that whatever it is that has disappointed you guys or what have you, I feel that things are ultimately going to work out, even if it's something that's replacing something that has been lost. But I feel that this is something that needs to be handled. And it's not saying that this is like you handling this is contingent upon you getting your blessings. I don't think that that's the case at all. I feel that, you know, it feels almost like karmically. It's like it's a peaceful resolution in the sense that karmically it's destined for you to get whatever it is that you're coming into, or to replace whatever it is that you lost. But this is something that needs to be handled, because this is another thing that can kind of be put in the trophy case of stuff if this mindset isn't changed. Like, this would be another really dope thing in your life that is super dope for a little while, like temporarily, before it's like this no longer gives me that fulfilling feeling that I thought. You know what I mean? And I'm getting so many different scenarios, y'all. Like, I'm thinking in the sense of, okay, Gemini, you almost really be going through it. I'm thinking about this also in the sense of like, say if it's a person who has like buku college degrees, like you got like 4 masters and like 3 PhDs on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's the thought that when you were an undergrad first time around, you thought that getting a bachelor's degree would give you worth and value. But then you got that bachelor's and it wasn't enough. So the thought was, let me go get a master's. And like when I get my master's degree, then I'll feel good enough. And that wasn't enough. So then you were like, all right, well, let me go get a PhD. You got the PhD and that wasn't enough. Then you got a really dope job with a PhD and that still wasn't enough, because it was a temporary fix, right? So it's like you feel high on cloud 9 for a little while, and then you go right back down to this feeling of stagnation and feeling lost. So it's constantly going out to seek people, stuff, and things to try to fix this problem within, this unfulfillment. But the thing is, you need to work from within out to manifest the life that you desire, right? Because it's like, what is your happiness? Like, what is your sun card? Like, what is that? And I feel like regardless of what you guys do externally, you will always come back to this place, because until you figure out this, you're always going to feel like this. You know what I mean? I hope that that makes sense. So now we're going to throw the dice that have no name, that Princess really needs to name, because I've been trying to name these since like July or June, something like that. We have the number 8, which is a karmic number. We have Aquarius, And we have Venus. So let's see, Venus. Learning to love, curated relationship with spirit, self, and others, cultivating harmony and balance in your life. And number 6 is totally about harmony and balance. And the same thing with the Lover's card is about as well. But a curated relationship with spirit. And I mean, whether you want to look at that as God's spirit, looking at it being in union with yourself, however it is that you want to make it up, it's like balance does not exist without unless we have it first within, you know? And I heard pregnant with possibility, whatever that means for you guys. So the number 8, we have strength. So that's your major arcana to meditate on for the month. And we have deep-seated inner longing for, oh my goodness. Gemini, good Lord. I think I want to read number 6 to y'all too. Anywho, it says deep-seated inner longing for symmetry and harmony. Are we souls having a human experience or happy accidents? And then the Lover says balance and harmony. What's no longer serving your highest good? That's real. And the thing that I want to do, the other thing Spirit was showing me to do, I'm going to pull one of my chakra oracle cards on the heart of you guys reading to kind of give you some insight into that. I feel the struggle is real, Jim. I've noticed for each sign, like everybody is in this odd, like transitional period. But it's like, so if y'all are cross-watching Geminis, don't feel like just Gemini is like super special right now, because it's almost like for each sign I've done so far, it's like it's a little something extra I've done for each person, just depending on what's going on here. Okay, what card is this? We have Wisdom. That's clarifying the sun in the center of you guys' reading. Let me give you a little tidbit. So we're talking about heart chakras and what's not or whatever. All right. This is the earth green, which brings wisdom, patience, and acceptance. Sage is perfect when you need to prove nothing. When you choose simply to be wise, there's an ability here to bring serenity to any situation, and indeed, it may be needed. Well, hot damn son of a gun. I will give you guys the meditation that goes with this card in the extended, but that is all I have for you, Gemini. If you guys want to follow me over to Vimeo, please do so. The link is below, but if not, I still love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.